You are watching Pausing with Erik. We pause for a second or two. How do we keep life coherent when so much is changing? This is episode 287, The Maybe War. In today's episode, we are talking about this wood cube, tension. Tension is an acute skill. It's a skill for our acute situation. Our acute situation is for those times when we are caught off guard, when we are startled, or when we are suddenly approached by something or someone. And tension is a skill for our acute situation. And you can even see in the wood there, you can see a crack in the wood from tension. Tension in the wood. This is the image for tension. It's a cello, the classical string instrument cello. This is a nice image for tension because the principle behind string instruments is that the tension in these four strings here need to be just right. If there is too little tension, then it will not sound very well. It will not sound very good. And if the tension is too high, it will also not sound as it should. So the tension should be not too little and not too much, but just the right amount of tension. And this is why a string instrument, for example the cello, is such a good image for tension, because that's what we want to achieve with acute skill tension. We want the right amount of tension, not too little, not too much, but just enough so that we may sound good, so that we may function properly as persons. How do we do this? We pause and check in on tensions inside and outside. Tension is how we attune our bodies to one another. So let's draw a couple of bodies. So here we might have me. Looks like one of those old cave paintings. That's me, let's say. And here we have you. Two people, two bodies. So we are saying, I guess, a couple of things here. We're saying that tension is how we attune our bodies to one another. So my body is not isolated. My body is a body among other bodies. There is my body, there is your body, and a bunch of other bodies. And the tension in my body depends on the tension in other bodies. And the tension in other bodies depend on the tension in my body. We pause and check in on tensions inside and outside. So from my perspective, inside is in here, in my body, and outside is your body. And from your perspective, the reverse is true. From your perspective, inside is in here, and outside is in me, and in every other body. So we have this sort of connection between my inside and your outside, and between your inside and my outside. Like this double flow going on. And acute skill tension is how we attune our bodies to one another. So acute skill tension is not only an individual matter, it's also a cooperative skill. And our goal, what we want to sound good. We want to sound like the cello. We want to be able to play music with who we are. We want life to sort of flow in this nice way, so that we may, play a whole range of music in life, so to speak, like a metaphor. And this is tension. So when there is too little tension, when we are too depressed or, too listless, then we will not be able to sort of cooperate very well. And when we have too much tension, the same is true. We will be too prickly, too ready to fight, to be able to cooperate very well. So too much tension will make for clashes between us. And our relationship will crack, like the wood has done here. Too much tension. And today's episode is called The Maybe War. So we are relating acute skill tension to our current sort of geopolitical peace or war situation. And now for quite some time, a couple of years at least, or the last 4 years maybe, we have been in this sort of strange, suspended kind of geopolitical landscape. We have been in this sort of political landscape when it's difficult to really tell for us as civilians if there is peace or war. We're in this time has traits of both peace and war at the same time. And all of us have seen movies and historical records of when the Second World War broke out. And we have seen sort of reenactions of when people sit in front of their radio and there's an announcement that Great Britain and Germany has declared war on one another. So they say something like, "We are at war." Very clear. From this moment on, we are at war. But now, in our time, we do not receive such a clear sort of announcement. We have not yet, at least, heard any announcement saying we are at war. Instead, we see these examples of what may be called, operations, they're called sometimes. It's called hybrid warfare. It's called terrorism. It's called all these different kinds of sort of descriptive words for something kind of in between peace and war. And today, in today's episode, we pause for a second or two and acknowledge ourselves that this is taking its toll on us when it comes to tension. So every time we are told that something has been done, some kind of operation, let's say, military operation, then the tension in our body goes up. We tense up. And then after some time, maybe a few days or a few weeks, the situation sort of, tails out. And then it's peace again. So it's like on and off war, peace, but not really. traits of war and then back again to traits of peace. So our tension is going full tense and then relaxing, tense, relaxing, and it goes up and down. So these sort of, strings of music between you and me, between us as people, is being pulled out and then relaxed, pulled out and relaxed. And this is wearing us down. It's very tough to attune our bodies to one another when these sort of inner and outer tensions are being tested like this, back and forth, back and forth. It's very fatiguing. So we're sort of caught in between peace and war. Not fully at peace and not fully at war, but this sort of no man's land, tension-wise. We cannot be fully alerted, but not calm either. And today's date, today is the 28th of February 2026. This morning we received news that there has been some kind of bigger kind of military operation being done in Iran and being done by the United States of America and Israel. So some kind of, operation. It's being called something, given a name, and we don't really know what has happened yet. And we know that Iran also has responded with their sort of operations. And that's all we know really at this point. So I guess we will see. But again, not the same clear, announcement as the one we have sort of learned about from the Second World War. No one saying clearly, we are at war. Something has been done, but we as civilians don't really know what is the extent. We're learning instead piece by piece. And the tension in our bodies are going up and down, up and down. It's making this very difficult. The dynamics between us, the sort of attuning, the social attuning, making music, so to speak, together as bodies, is made more difficult by this sort of on and off maybe war, we can call it. So our conclusion is that this may be war. The maybe war is putting a crack in between our dynamics. So I guess what we have done today in today's episode is that we have talked about the maybe war and going, this way. So that we may sort of go, in a way, go around this crack. It's not as straightforward as just regular attuning, tension-wise, social tension, but it's still something to talk about the maybe war. Like we have done today. And we will see how this develops. And if it gets any easier, we will see, will there be any clear declaration of war? Maybe, maybe not. And for the time being, we do this. Because this dynamic, we really need it. Without this sort of social interaction, social tension, at just the right amount of tension, like for the cello, the strings of the cello, we cannot survive without this sort of, going back and forth and social interaction. It's just essential to who we are. We need the music. Without it, it's not the same. That's it for today. Thank you.